Fleet Commander Jax Torvin yawned as he stretched his 4 arms in his command chair. Another routine patrol in Sector 7, another day of absolutely nothing happening. Commander. Unidentified vessel detected at the border of our territory, announced Navigation Officer Plex with a hint of excitement. Jax rolled all 3 of his eyes. Just one? Probably some merchant who got lost. Tell them to identify themselves and move along. Sending standard hailing protocols now, sir. The massive viewscreen displayed a small blip approaching their defense perimeter. Hardly worth his attention. Jax reached for his cup of steaming Klapner, the Confederation's answer to coffee, just with more caffeine and a slight hallucinogenic effect that enhanced productivity. Sir, Weapons Officer Mira Daxon's voice cracked slightly. You might want to look at these readings. Jax grumbled but glanced at the data streaming across his console. His middle eye widened first, followed quickly by the other 2. That can't be right, he muttered, spilling Klapner down his uniform. Run the scans again. Already did, sir. 3 times. That single ship has energy signatures matching advanced weapons systems we've never encountered before. Their hull composition is unknown to our database. The command center fell silent. Unknown? The Galactic Confederation had catalogued every spacefaring species in the known universe. Their database contained millions of entries spanning thousands of years. Open a direct communication channel, Jax ordered, suddenly alert. The view screen flickered, and a face appeared. A bipedal creature with pale skin, dark hair pulled back tightly, and only 2 eyes. How did they even perceive depth properly? This is Captain Eleanor west of the Earth vessel Horizon. We come in peace and request permission to establish diplomatic relations. Jax's antennae twitched nervously. The creature spoke in perfect Confederation standard. How was that possible? This is Fleet Commander Jax Torvin. Your species is unknown to us. Identify your origin and purpose immediately. Captain West smiled. A universal expression, apparently, but on her it seemed predatory somehow. We're humans from Earth, a planet about 3,000 light-years from here. We've been observing your Confederation for some time and felt it was time to introduce ourselves formally. Observing? For how long? Jax felt a cold sensation in all 5 of his stomachs. Sir, whispered his second-in-command, their weapon systems just went into standby mode. They could have fired at any time during this conversation. Jax called an emergency meeting with his senior staff. Within minutes, his ready room was filled with agitated officers talking over each other. We should destroy them immediately, argued defense strategist Lux. 1 ship is manageable. What if there are more? That would be an act of war against an unknown power, countered diplomat Irax. If they've been watching us, they might know our weaknesses. But a single ship? Jax pondered. Either they're incredibly brave or incredibly foolish. The decision came down from high command within the hour: engage the human vessel. Neutralize the threat. As Jax returned to the bridge to give the order, he couldn't shake the memory of Captain West's confident smile. It was almost as if she expected this response. Sir, called out Sensors Officer Tralix, voice trembling. I'm detecting quantum communications from the human ship. They're talking to someone beyond our sensor range. Jax felt his blood run cold. Perhaps this wasn't the only human ship after all, #only 1 ship? Unidentified warship detected, it's human, and it's armed. Part 2, the battle formations Beta 7. All ships report status. Fleet Commander Jax barked into the comm system. 12 of the Confederation's finest battle cruisers formed a perfect attack pattern around the lone human vessel. The horizon looked pathetically small in comparison, like a sand mite facing a squadron of predator beasts. All ships reporting ready, Commander. Weapons hot, shields at maximum. Jax straightened his uniform. This would be over quickly. Open a channel to the human ship. Captain Eleanor West appeared on screen again, sipping from a steaming mug. She looked bored. Captain West, Jax announced with as much authority as he could muster. You have violated Confederation space. Surrender your vessel immediately or face destruction. West took another sip, then set her mug down carefully. Commander Torvin, I see you've brought friends to our little chat. How thoughtful. She checked something off screen. I've transmitted our diplomatic credentials 3 times now. Are you certain you want to proceed with this course of action? Her calm demeanor sent an uncomfortable shiver down Jax's central spine. Something wasn't right. Final warning, Captain. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. West sighed. Very well. For the record, this is being logged as an unprovoked act of aggression against a peaceful vessel. Horizon out. The communication cut off. Sir? Weapons Officer Daxon looked uncertain. Should we fire a warning shot? No warnings. All ships, target their propulsion systems and weapons arrays. Fire on my mark. 3. 2. The human ship moved. 1 second it was centered in their formation, the next it had somehow jumped position without conventional engine signatures. Impossible, shouted Navigator Plex. They didn't use a jump drive or wormhole technology. Before Jax could respond, the Horizon fired. Not the expected energy weapons, but what appeared to be small projectiles. Ridiculously primitive. Then those projectiles split into dozens of smaller ones, each perfectly targeting the weak points in Confederation shield technology. Cruiser Dominant is reporting critical systems failure, shouted Communications Officer Trill. Cruiser Vengeance has lost engine power. Jax stared in disbelief as 2 of his ships drifted helplessly. Return fire. All batteries. The remaining Confederation ships unleashed a furious barrage. The human vessel should have been vaporized instantly. Instead, it performed maneuvers that defied the known laws of physics, slipping between energy blasts like water through fingers. Sir! They're using our own targeting systems against us, cried Daxon. 3 more ships hit by friendly fire. In less than 7 minutes, 6 Confederation warships were disabled or destroyed. Not a single hit had landed on the human vessel. Captain West's face appeared on screen again. Commander Torvin, this demonstration has gone far enough, wouldn't you agree? We have disabled 6 of your vessels without casualties. The next salvo won't be so merciful. Jax stared at the tactical display in horror. Half his fleet, gone. Against 1 ship. Retreat, he whispered, then louder, all remaining ships, full retreat. Now. As they fled, Jax couldn't help but wonder what would happen when more human ships arrived. Because if this was what one could do, #only 1 ship? Unidentified warship detected, it's human, and it's armed. Part 3, Negotiation, Fleet Commander Torvin, you are relieved of duty. Effective immediately. Jax didn't even protest as he surrendered his command insignia. The humiliation of retreat burned worse than any formal reprimand could. Admiral Vorex Kalmin, a towering figure with battle-scarred exoskeleton and reputation for brutal efficiency, had arrived from Central Command within hours of the disaster. His 6 eyes narrowed as he reviewed the battle footage for the 14th time. 1 ship, Kalmin muttered, mandibles clicking in agitation. 1 ship decimated half a battle group. Sir, ventured his aide cautiously, High Command suggests. Diplomatic solutions. Kalman's laughter rattled like stones in a metal can. Diplomatic solutions. Yes. Perhaps we should find out what they want before they reduce our fleets to scrap metal. He straightened his ceremonial armor. Open a channel to the human vessel. Captain West appeared on screen, looking refreshed. Admiral Kalmin, I presume? Your reputation precedes you. As does yours, Captain, Kalmin replied stiffly. I propose a face-to-face meeting. Neutral territory. 2 representatives each. No weapons. West smiled. Agreed. There's an uninhabited moon in nearby Sector 489. Sending coordinates now. 4 hours later, a small shuttle landed on the dusty surface of the desolate moon. Admiral Kalmin and senior diplomat Nara Vex stepped out, tension evident in their postures. A sleek craft landed opposite them. Captain West emerged with another human, a darker-skinned male with an easy smile. Admiral Kalmin, Diplomat Vex. May I introduce Science Officer Marcus Johnson? The meeting began awkwardly in a temporary atmospheric bubble. Basic pleasantries seemed fraught with potential disaster. So your species consumes the flesh of other animals? Vex asked, horrified when the humans mentioned something called barbecue. Johnson laughed. And your species doesn't photosynthesize through those lovely tentacle fronds? We all evolved differently. Kalmin cut through the small talk. What are your intentions in Confederation space? Conquest? West looked genuinely surprised. Conquest? Good heavens, no. We're explorers and traders. We've been mapping this sector for potential resources and trade partners. With weaponry that can disable our most advanced warships? Kalman's tone dripped skepticism. Admiral, Johnson interjected gently, in our experience, new territories can be dangerous. We come prepared, not aggressive. The conversation shifted to territorial boundaries. Kalman displayed a holographic map of Confederation space, 12,000 star systems across 3 spiral arms of the galaxy. West nodded politely, then activated her own holographic display. The humans' territory spanned nearly twice that size, extending into regions the Confederation had deemed uninhabitable. Impossible, whispered Vex. Those sectors contain lethal radiation zones and quantum instabilities. Yes, West replied. We found those challenging at first too. Kalman's exoskeleton paled. And how many ships does your fleet contain, Captain? West exchanged glances with Johnson. The Horizon is merely a scout vessel, Admiral. The first of many to map this region. She smiled warmly. Our exploration fleet consists of several hundred similar ships. The diplomatic and trade fleets would follow once we established peaceful contact. Several hundred ships? Each as powerful as the Horizon? Kalman felt lightheaded. I believe, he said carefully, that the Confederation would be most interested in establishing formal diplomatic relations immediately. West nodded pleasantly. Excellent. I'll notify the main fleet they can proceed to this sector. Hashtag only one ship? Unidentified warship detected, it's human, and it's armed. Hashtag Part 4, a new alliance. The Confederation High Council chamber had never been so crowded. Dignitaries from all 17 member species crammed into the vaulted hall, their nervous chatter creating a symphony of clicks, whistles, and rumbles. Admiral Kalman stood rigidly at attention beside the Supreme Chancellor's podium. The human delegation has arrived, announced the Master of Ceremonies. The massive doors slid open to reveal a procession of 20 humans in crisp blue uniforms. Leading them was a tall woman with silver-streaked auburn hair and piercing green eyes. Ambassador Talia Renner of the Human Federation, she introduced herself, voice carrying effortlessly through the hall. On behalf of our 17 billion citizens across 342 worlds, I bring greetings of peace and friendship. Chancellor Zorix's 6 tentacles rippled with barely contained anxiety. 17 billion? A modest population by some standards, Renner replied with a pleasant smile. We've brought our standard diplomatic package for your consideration. The standard package turned out to be a staggering array of technological exchanges, medical advancements, and resource-sharing proposals that would revolutionize Confederation society overnight. The terms were unexpectedly generous. "You offer much and ask little in return," observed Trade Minister Balak suspiciously. "What is your true objective?" Captain West, now serving as military attaché, stepped forward. "Allies are more valuable than subjects, Minister. The universe is vast and not always friendly." As the negotiations proceeded, cultural attaché Sophia Patel organized a reception to foster informal connections. This led to a series of increasingly comedic misunderstandings. "No, diplomat Vex, humans cannot detach their limbs for convenience," explained Lieutenant Parker patiently. "That was a figure of speech." "What do you mean you sleep for 8 hours consecutively?" gasped Medical Officer Zrelb. "Every day? And you're still alive?" "Trust me," sighed Science Officer Johnson, "explaining human reproduction will be even more shocking." The most bewildering concept to the Confederation representatives was laughter. Humans did it constantly, often at seemingly inappropriate moments. "You deliberately tell falsehoods for amusement?" Chancellor Zorix asked, thoroughly confused by the concept of jokes. "Here, try this one," Ambassador Renner offered. "Why don't scientists trust atoms?" "Because they make up everything." The confused silence was deafening. 3 weeks of negotiations culminated in the historic Horizon Accords, establishing the first formal alliance between humans and the Confederation. The signing ceremony was broadcast throughout both territories. "A momentous day," declared Chancellor Zorix. "From uncertain beginnings to a partnership that will benefit all our peoples." The official proceedings complete, Admiral Kalman approached Captain West at the reception. "One question has bothered me since our first encounter," he admitted. "Why send just one ship initially? Surely that was tactically unsound." West grinned mysteriously. "Actually, we sent 3. 3? But we only detected the horizon." "Exactly," West replied, raising her glass in a toast. "The other 2 were testing our new cloaking technology. They were right beside you the entire time." Kalman's exoskeleton made an audible cracking sound as his posture collapsed. "You humans are terrifying." Ambassador Renner overheard and laughed heartily. "Admiral Kalman, my friend, you have no idea. We haven't even introduced you to our cats yet."